Some might say that I'm a loner, but I just call it being free. I am my heart's only owner, or at least I used to be. 'Cause now a wildfire is raging deep inside, and my heartstrings are...
Hey everyone, I'm Calvin with Southern Country Living.
And I'm Marie.
And we hope everyone's having a great weekend. Marie and I, we're really trying to enjoy our weekend, and the weather just not cooperating a whole lot for us. And I'll talk about the weather here in a few minutes. But first, I'm going to let Marie do the devotional for today. And this week, the devotional is on Matthew 6:34.
And today it says, give up on worry. And then Carrie Timberlane, we all know who she is. I don't have to explain who she is. But it says, worry is a cycle of ineffective thoughts whirling around a center of fear. And Corey, she had really a lot of reasons to fear because she was in a concentration camp. And so whatever fear that we're dealing with, it's very real and earth-shaking to us when we're going through it. And so it's better to cast all of our cares on the Lord and rely on Him. But we're human sometimes, and we don't always do that. And it says, are you a warrior? And I have to admit, sometimes I have been a warrior, and I haven't relied on Christ like I should. But when I do, everything goes a lot better in my life for me. And then that chases that fear away. And it says, what kinds of things do you worry about? Well, I'm sure that we can all think of a million things that we do worry about. But I found out that if I live in the present, then I do less worrying. But there's some things that people get confused with worry. Planning ahead, I don't really think that that's worrying, because even the ants gather food up for the winter, and the squirrels too. So I think it's good to plan ahead, and let's don't get that confused with worrying. It says things that have already happened or things that might possibly happen in the future. Some people worry about. Yeah, things that have already happened or things that might possibly happen in the future. And sometimes it's really hard when we watch YouTube or different things and they show all of these clickbait up on the screen to not worry about what's going to happen in the future. But if we just try to stay in the present, that's what always helps me, if I stay in the present. It says, you know, of course, that worry of any kind is a waste of energy. And it really is. I found out, lots of times when I was worrying about things, I said, why did I worry about that? Can't do anything about it anyway. It says, when you worry about things you have no control over, it pulls you away from faith in God, because worry and faith can't really hang out in the same place. So when you feel anxiety and worry creeping into your heart, just stop it. Now that's really hard to do. It takes prayer to do that. It says, tell God that you are going to give the situation to Him, because you know He can take care of it. Don't waste today worrying about tomorrow. And I think that is a really good advice. I like that. It says, don't waste today worrying about tomorrow. But let's don't get that confused with not planning smartly also. It says, do you worry about tomorrow? For tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. And that was Mark 6:34. And isn't that the truth? Each day has enough trouble of its own, doesn't it? And y'all can write in the comments if you want to. if you feel like doing it, if you are a worrier, or if you just do like what I really am trying to do now, is to live in the present and not worry so much. But if you want to, you can tell some of the things that you worry about. You know, if you want to let us know what you worry about. And we just had a storm a few minutes ago, and it looked very ominous. It was lightning really bad, and the wind was blowing really bad. But I thought about how many times have I been in this house when there's been so many storms that came up and everything. And so I thought about that, and so I thought, well, you know, there's not anything that I can do about it but just trust in the Lord while I'm in this storm. And so that's all we can do in life, is just trust in the Lord when we go through storms.
Very good advice, Mother. And you're right, we have been in a lot of storms here at this house, haven't we?
We have.
Okay, everyone. First thing I want to talk about, last week we were talking about people's age, and I had asked you to leave comments and let us know your age, and I was going to do a shout out for the oldest person.
And I'm just glad I wasn't the oldest.
Well, according to most of the comments, the majority of the people that watch us are in the 60 and 70 year range. Okay, we do have a lot of younger people, and we got a lot of older people. But so I'm gonna go ahead and do the shout outs first, and I'm actually gonna do more than just one, and I thought this would be fair. The first person that I'm gonna do a shout out for, I'm not sure her name, but her YouTube name is Cat M.I. And her Aunt Helen is 100 years old. She just turned 100, I believe she said, in February. And she said her aunt actually gets around as good as she does, if not better.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so the next shout out we're going to do is for Bobby, and this is spelled Bobbie. And I think that I know who Bobby is. I have a friend that lives here in Rome, not very far from us, and his name is Cornbread. And I think that Bobby is a friend of Cornbread's. But now I may be wrong, and if I am wrong, I apologize. But anyway, Bobby is 91 years old. And I just think that is just a blessing.
And she's still working, isn't she?
I don't know about that.
Okay. She's not the one that works at the thrift center?
I don't think that's her. I don't think that's her. I think that's someone else.
Cut.
No, we won't cut. But anyway, that is Bobby, and if it's who I think it is, she lives out there close to Cornbread.
Okay.
And so anyway, the next person is Lisa Lopez. And Lisa Lopez, her mother watches our channel, and her mother is 90 years old.
Wow.
Okay.
My grandmother, she passed away at 93.
Yeah. And then for the oldest, the last person that I'm going to list is Betty Davis. And Betty Davis watches us, and she is 89 years old.
She has a famous name.
She does, doesn't she? And there were quite a few people that were in the 80s, and so I won't go through all of them, but for everyone that left their comments, we really appreciate you watching our channel.
It's a blessing to live that long of life.
Yes, it absolutely is.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm going to go down to the youngest. And we didn't have as many young people commenting, but we did have, a few. And so the first person I'm going to list, her name is Goldie, Goldie, and she is 29 years old. And she does watch us, and we appreciate that, Goldie. Then the last mention and last shout out we have here, this is Family in Ohio. That's their YouTube name, Family in Ohio. And for them, they have 2 children that watches us. The first one her name is Journey, and she is 9 years old. And her parents said that Journey just loves to watch Marie cook. And so, Marie, I thought that was special there.
It was.
And so we wanted to be sure and mention that for Journey. And then Journey also has a sister, and her name is Violet. And on the comments it said she was 4 years old and said that she enjoyed watching all of our videos. So shout out to both of them. That's Journey and Violet. We appreciate you very, very much.
Yeah, you didn't ask for all the animals that watch us. Remember, we do have a cat that watches.
Yeah, no, I didn't ask for that this time. But I just thought that'd be interesting to do. And I love reading the comments. And a few people would make comment that they, their age. And they would say, well, I know I'm not the oldest and I'm probably not the youngest, but I still wanted to comment. And I appreciate that because a lot of the comments I reply to you constantly over and over. So it's like I feel like I know you. It's sort of like writing letters back and forth all the time.
And the letters that y'all send us that we get, I read them and I feel like I know you too. We don't always acknowledge your mail, and I'm sorry about it that we don't. But we don't have time sometimes, but we're very thankful for them. We really enjoy getting them. And then, so we just really appreciate that too.
Okay. And so as I mentioned earlier, this is Memorial Day weekend. And as of right now, we don't have any plans for Memorial Day weekend. Marie and I were both a little tired because we've been busy this last week, haven't we, Marie? And so we may do something very simple and simplistic for Memorial Day weekend. But this last week, we've had rain almost every day.
Yeah.
Last Saturday in the evening, we had a really bad storm that come through, and it knocked our electricity off for several hours.
Yeah.
It came back on, and then about an hour later, it went off again.
Yeah, because another storm came through.
Yeah, and so we were just having problems with the storm last Saturday. That particular storm, it rained so hard that day, it looked like a river in our backyard, the way the water runs off the mountain. But also I noticed all the rose bushes, it knocked a lot of the petals off of my roses.
And we thank you also for y'all that called and checked on us.
Yeah, we did have several people send us emails and calling and everything. And we appreciate that. Okay, and so I went out this morning and I did get some pictures. I didn't take pictures of the rose bushes because they look so bad. But the gardenias, I noticed this morning, they are starting to bloom. And I seen 4 or 5 blooms on the gardenia bushes that we planted last year. And I thought that was pretty neat.
Yeah, they really smell good too, and the roses.
Yeah. And the roses are coming back. They've got plenty of buds that will be opening up. And so shortly we'll have plenty of beautiful blooms on the roses again.
Right.
We also, yesterday, we had a real bad storm come through yesterday afternoon. And then we had a real bad storm earlier this morning, like Marie said. Yeah. But mostly, I don't worry about those storms. Leave it all in God's hands. But mostly, I'm thankful that we haven't had any damage from it.
And well, you used to have to work out in the storms with the kind of work that you did. Mm-hmm. So I imagine that that you don't worry about them because with the kind of work that you did.
Well, years ago when I was young, I was the head technician for the cable TV system here in Rome, Georgia. And so anytime it came up a storm, of course back then the cable systems weren't as good as they are now, and the lightning would knock the cable system off. Mm-hmm. And so it was my responsibility primarily to get that system back on.
And that was one of the things that I used to worry about when Calvin worked for the cable company, was him having to go out in the storms. And I left this house many nights, late at night, in the middle of the night, and everything would be lightning. But God always took care of you.
Yeah, and get that cable back on. Okay, and then of course the one other thing I wanted to mention, is we want to pray for everyone that has had damage from the storms this last week.
Yes.
I know that there were several tornadoes that touched down in different states all across the Midwest part of the United States, and we just pray for everyone and pray that everything's been taken care of for you.
And we've had them here in Georgia and around our area, and so we know how devastating they can be when they do touch down.
We sure do. Okay, Marie, we'll try not to make this video stretch too long because the last video that we posted was 38 minutes long. And so we'll try to keep this one reasonable.
And sometimes when we get on here, we wonder, what in the world are we going to be able to talk about today?
I know when we get started and we get through, I say, oh my goodness, look how long this video is. But this last week, we did do 6 videos this last week, Marie.
Yeah.
And I don't know what we were doing, but we enjoyed it, didn't we?
Yes, we do. It gives us something to do in our elderly age, right?
It does, and it sort of made us, well, it made me tired. I was pretty wore out Friday night from, doing so many videos and going so many places, but it was fun. Now, this coming week with Memorial Day weekend, we might take it a little bit easier, and we might, like I said, for Monday, we may do something real simple, and we may not do as many videos this coming week, but y'all just keep watching the ones that we do put out. So last week, the first video we did was our Sunday chat, and that was, we titled that Good Intentions and Distractions. And that was part of Marie's devotion, and that was where I got the title from, didn't I, Marie?
Right.
And I hope y'all enjoyed that, and I hope you watched it first of all, and hope you enjoyed it. The second video we did was the hobo casserole. And I think that I found that video, I found that recipe, didn't I, Marie?
Yeah.
I think I did. But anyway, I did the video for it, and the meal itself was so delicious. I just absolutely loved it. We did have leftovers, and the leftovers, I did put them, after we ate them the next day also, I put the leftovers in freezer containers, and I've got 3 meals of hobo casserole in my freezer out there. And so I'll enjoy that a little later. Okay, the next video we did was the peach cobbler. Now, Marie did the peach cobbler, and she makes peach cobblers all the time. And whenever you make it, there's a couple of different variations that you can do. If you got vanilla flavor, you add it. If you don't, you don't. And sometimes you do because you want to, and sometimes you don't, right?
Right.
And how much sugar you put in it depends on how sweet you want it to be. There's just a lot of different variations.
Right.
But that peach cobbler lasted for 1 day and a half. And it was all gone. I think I ate 3 servings, didn't I, Marie?
Right.
I've got to quit doing that, but I love her peach cobbler. It's so good. The next video we did was the kielbasa sausage with cabbage and potatoes, and I believe you did that in a crock pot, didn't you, Marie?
Yes.
And I love that meal. That's very good.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people, don't like cabbage because when you cook it, it makes your house have a strong smell. But on this particular recipe, Marie put 1 apple in the cabbage, with the cabbage in the crock pot. Was this the first time you've ever made this type recipe with an apple in it?
Yes, and it really does the trick, doesn't it?
Well, what I noticed is, number one, our house did not smell bad from the cabbage all day long. And then after we had it that day, we put it in an airtight container and put it in the refrigerator. The next day, when I got some leftovers out to heat them up, when I opened it up, the first thing I noticed as I started stirring it, I could smell the apple. And I did not notice the apple the first day, but the second day I noticed the smell of the apple, and I commented to Marie, I said, Marie, I don't smell that real strong smell of the cabbage. And so I don't, if you've done this before, you may be familiar with it, but apparently the apple helps to mask the smell of the cabbage. And I don't know if it does it that way every time. We'll have to try it next time we cook cabbage and see, won't we, Marie?
We will.
But anyway, it was very delicious, and we enjoyed it. The next video we did, I think this one came out on Thursday, if I remember correctly. It was our family fun day, and on that video we had went to Home Depot, and we went to Dollar Tree. We also went to the Mexican restaurant and met up with Kim and Jonathan and our great-grandbabies. Then we went to Kim's house and hung out for a little while. And the very last thing we did when we left there, we did go by the lake and looked at the little baby geese that Kim had told us there were baby geese over there. And so we went over there and looked at those. And then we went to Kroger's and bought some salmon. And now we did go ahead and get frozen salmon, because we do have a recipe that we want to make with the frozen salmon, but we don't know what day yet, and it may be a few days before we get to it. But by buying frozen, we got it at a good price. I think it was 1 1/4 pounds of salmon, and it was about, I'm going to say it was about that long of a fillet, and it was good and thick. It weighed 1 1/4 pounds, and we got it for $7.99. So I thought that was a good price for it. And so we'll prepare that meal one day soon, won't we, Marie?
Right.
Okay. And then the next meal that we prepared was on Friday night, and that was jambalaya, and that was prepared using the Zatarain's mix that you can buy, and we made it the hot and spicy recipe.
And if I did it again, I would use mild. It was very good, though. It was really delicious. But I would use mild if I was making it again, for me.
Yeah, and we got the idea from our daughter, Cynthia, and she said that she normally puts the hot sausage in hers. Well, so we wanted to try it with the hot sausage. I'm going to be honest with you, normally Marie likes the hot spicy recipes, and I don't. But on this particular recipe, I like the hot spicy recipe, and Marie didn't.
Yeah, it was just a little bit too spicy for me.
Yeah, so if we make it again, we'll make it with mild sausage, and on the Rotel tomatoes, they're usually not too terribly hot, so you can handle those.
Yeah.
But it was probably just that sausage.
It's really good, though. Now, we know that this is not the all-day jambalaya and all that, but this is fast and easy version, and it's very delicious.
It was.
And you can put all kinds of different sides with it if you want to, but me and Calvin like it just as it is, as a one-pot meal.
And to be honest with you, we still got just a little bit left over from it. And after we do this today, when it comes lunchtime, I'm going to heat me up just a little more of that jambalaya because I enjoyed it that much.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Now, you know, like I said, normally I don't like the hot spicy, but this particular one, I loved it. Okay, Marie, we made it through all of our videos for last week. What we need to do now is make about 6 more videos for next week, don't we?
Did our camera go off?
No,
Okay.
it dimmed. The battery may be getting low, but we're okay.
Okay.
And so, hope y'all enjoyed our Sunday chat this week. And like I said, y'all have a good Memorial Day weekend and enjoy your time with your family. And Marie, if you have anything else?
No, I think we just about covered it all. Y'all
Okay.
just stay safe out there in this wild weather we have.
Absolutely. Well, we love all of you. We appreciate you very much watching our channel. We appreciate you watching our Sunday chats. But be sure and watch our regular videos that we put out during the week also, because that helps our channel out a lot. If you watch it, be sure you subscribe. If you hadn't already, give us a thumbs up. And leave comments if you feel like it, because we love reading the comments. And I'll be honest with you, last week we had so many videos, we were getting so many comments that it was taking me a while to reply to everybody, and I got a little behind on it. But we do our best to stay caught up on it. And so y'all continue to comment, and we appreciate it very much. Okay, Maria, I'll quit talking, let you close.
Okay, so y'all do what you love and love what you do, and y'all have a great Memorial Day weekend. And so I'm going to close the video out now, and so bye.
We were young and we were free and running, never bothered about what could be coming. Every day we danced and life was smiling.